Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're tuning into AMTV, Alternative Media Television. And remember when it was a conspiracy theory that the President of the United States was supplying Syrian rebels, terrorists on the ground, the opposition? You know, they like to call them freedom fighters, but they're really just terrorists. Remember when it was a conspiracy theory that Barack Obama was providing them with weapons, with arms, that were later used, and again, the accusation was at the time, but it was a conspiracy theory, which has now been proven 100% correct by the UN and UN officials, the United Nations, folks, that it was the Syrian rebels, terrorists on the ground, the same ones Obama's been giving weapons to. Again, there's been countless reports now that it was the Syrian opposition on the ground that committed the heinous act of using chemical weapons, chemical warfare on innocent civilians that murdered men, women, and children in Syria. We, of course, remember the interview of Bashar al-Assad, the leader of Syria, who was being aggressively, at least with an attempt by the Obama administration and the White House, to ouster him like they implicitly did in Libya with Muammar Gaddafi. Again, another illegal anti-constitutional intervention that he bypassed Congress with. Now we have a report confirming the earlier suspicions, with the Obama administration now seeking over $500 million from Congress to help moderate, see the propaganda? Moderate, really just arm Syrian terrorists on the ground in Syria. Again, he wants to give these people guns. Now, of course, this wider conflict was already planned. It's why it's spilled over from Syria into Iraq, and other terrorist organizations like ISIS are now taking over and committing gross atrocities against humanity, murder of men, women, and children. Again, all this part of the program here with the Obama administration. But now we have mainstream reports just flat out telling you Obama seeking $500 million from Congress to help moderate the propaganda. I love the propaganda, Syrian rebels. According to Reuters, President Barack Obama, under pressure from some lawmakers to provide more help to Syrian opposition terrorists, asked the U.S. Congress on Thursday to approve $500 million to train and equip moderate Syrian rebels seeking to oust President Bashar al-Assad. Really, he wants to oust him, and that's why he's arming them. It was the administration's most tangible move yet to help beleaguered Assad opponents who have been frustrated at a lack of U.S. assistance after U.S. President Obama stepped back from launching airstrikes on Syria nearly a year ago. Again, what was once a conspiracy theory is now just what's actually happening, and of course has been happening, and was confirmed, but then buried by the mainstream media, by the United Nations and UN officials. And I'm going to get to that in a moment. Of course, we have another report here from the BBC that came out not too long ago in 2013, post the deadly Syria chemical attacks that, again, were linked directly and perpetrated by the same terrorists on the ground that Obama's been arming. With the BBC reporting that Russia will give UN proof of Syria rebel chemical use. Again, all this came to light in officials proved this not too long ago, but it was buried by the mainstream media. All this linked to the Syrian opposition on the ground, of which Obama is currently and actively arming, and now seeking over $500 million from Congress to help moderate Syrian rebels. Rebels conduct new chemical weapons attack in Syria near Turkish border. This was another report that came out on October 29, 2013. Another report, Syria, UN mission report, confirms that opposition rebels, the moderators, used the chemical weapons against civilians and government forces. Again, a gross atrocity against humanity, a humanitarian crisis, the murder of countless innocent men, women, and children, civilians on the ground, because of this guy, still arming and now seeking over $500 million of your tax dollars to arm the moderators so they can go kill more people. Isn't that interesting? UN accuses Syrian rebels of chemical weapons use. This is from The Telegraph. Out of the United Kingdom, Syrian rebels have made use of the deadly nerve agent sarin gas in their war-torn country's conflict. UN human rights investigator Carla Del Ponte has said. Again, I give her mad props for coming forward. Again, an official at the UN linking and admitting, proving that it was the Syrian opposition, the terrorists, the moderators that Obama is funding right now and arming with guns, weapons, and helping to get their hands on chemical weapons that were the cause of the gross humanitarian crisis and tragedy that occurred in Syria not too long ago. Again, U.S. ineptitude leaves chemical weapons options for ISIS in Iraq. All of this connected, of course, Syria and Iraq, all a part of the destabilization effort, this mass destabilization effort being perpetrated not just by Democrats, but also Republicans over the last decade. Again, not just Obama to blame, but the Bush administration and the Obama administration, both to blame. Again, this right-left paradigm, a total and utter farce to keep you warring with each other when it really is just a New World Order agenda to destabilize this part of the world for a variety of economic and political reasons. Again, Syrian rebels use sarin nerve gas, not Assad's regime, according to a UN official. Testimony from victims strongly suggests it was the rebels, the moderators, Obama's moderators he's funding right now, not the Syrian government that used sarin nerve gas during a recent incident in the revolution-racked nation, a senior UN diplomat said Monday. Carla Del Ponte, a member of the UN Independent International Commission of Inquiry on Syria, told Swiss TV there were strong, concrete suspicions, but not yet incontrovertible proof that rebels seek to oust Syrian strongman Bashar al-Assad had used the nerve agent sarin gas. Again, concrete, strong. Carla Del Ponte, a member of the UN, making these accusations and providing this evidence to the international community, something that we broke to you many, many months and months ago that was written off as hearsay and conspiracy theory, now just the absolute truth, as it was before. Again, because it's always been the truth that Obama's arming these Syrian rebels, the opposition linked to groups like the al-Nusra Front with direct connections to al-Qaeda and other groups like ISIS, helping to get these horrendous, heinous weapons of war into the hands of criminals and terrorists on the ground that they say we're fighting, yet are actually arming and paying with your tax dollars over $500 million from Congress to help the moderators, to help the murderers, to help the killers, to help the Syrian terrorists, to help al-Nusra Front, al-Qaeda, and ISIS in Iraq. Again, Carla Del Ponte, here you can see her, a member of the UN, chief prosecutor of 2 United Nations International Criminal Law Tribunals. I give mad props for coming forward so that the international community can digest the heinous illegal acts committed by the U.S. federal government and the Obama administration in particular. Whether or not this is Benghazi Gate or the gross humanitarian crisis, tragedy, and murder of innocent civilians using sarin gas in Syria. Here's a picture of Carla Del Ponte, born February 9th, 1947, age 67. Again, a member of the UN, for crying out loud. Yet, you know what? A lot of people say this is conspiracy theory. No, not a conspiracy theory, just the truth, according to Carla Del Ponte, a member of the UN, and also according to the Washington Times, the Telegraph, various other sources, and now Yahoo and Reuters just flat out throwing it in your face, saying Obama, yeah, he's seeking $500 million from Congress to help moderate the Syrian rebels. Yeah, that's right, the moderators, the killers, those that are actually perpetrating these gross crimes against humanity, innocent men, women, and children, and civilians. An absolute tragedy, folks, but the hard-hitting truth. I'm Christopher Green. Get this out everywhere, make it viral, and click the link below to support our sponsor.